All right, well, thank you everyone for being here. And it is my privilege as the Orlando chapter president to welcome all of you to the 9th annual Chapters Conference of the great state of Florida. This weekend, I hope all of our panels inspire a lot of thoughtful reflection, and you all are able to enjoy some intellectual debate on topics that are both thought-provoking and timely. This evening, though, I want to also recognize that we're going to be joined by two very special guests. First is going to be the Chief Justice of the Florida Supreme Court, Carlos Muniz, and 11th Circuit Chief Judge William Pryor. I believe I think as we're calling it, the discussion with the chiefs is going to be a special evening for all, and we're also going to be joined by the moderator, who also used to serve on the Florida Supreme Court, former Justice Bobby Luck, and also serving currently on the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Tomorrow, we're going to have the pleasure of getting a little bit more into some policy issues with former Secretary of Education of the United States, Betsy DeVos. If you have not been paying attention to the news recently, education could not be a more timely topic, at least in the state of Florida and probably nationwide. So I expect that will also be a cannot miss luncheon that I hope all of you have the chance to enjoy. To kick off our conference today, we're going to welcome to the stage in just a moment Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, who is with us. For all of those who are not familiar yet with our Attorney General's background, she started off as a federal prosecutor and then was elected, which at the time, she was the youngest circuit judge in the state of Florida at the age of 31 over in the 13th Circuit in the Hillsborough area. In 2018, General Moody joined Governor DeSantis and some other members of the cabinet in running for that post of Attorney General, and was elected successfully as the 38th Attorney General of our great state of Florida. In her time serving as Attorney General, she has continued on fighting the opioid pandemic, battling human trafficking, and serving our great state in some very important ways, which I think all of us continue to benefit from, and continuing the hard work of the Attorney Generals that preceded her. It's a real honor and a privilege to have her with us today. And if you all don't mind joining me in welcoming General Ashley Moody to the stage.
Well, hello, and good to see you again. For those of you that are from Florida, welcome. From those of you that traveled from other states, as many are doing these days, I don't know if you've been paying attention, including Charlie Trippi, my former general counsel, who came all the way from Wisconsin. Welcome to Florida. You are a part of a growing trend. In fact, Florida, I think, saw 416,000 people move here last year. We are leading by percentage in growth. And if you compare that to some other states, New York, California, they're seeing double-digit or six-figure losses of population. They're probably all coming here. But it is a testament to Florida's strength and success and vitality. A lot of people will attribute that to common sense leadership. And I think that really underestimates, and I submit this to this particular group, I think that underestimates the acumen and capabilities and intellect of our great Governor DeSantis, because he is one of you. He is a lawyer, trained in the law, schooled in what this country was founded on, its principles, its values, our government structure, the way it was intended to function, the danger in having executives act outside that very limited scope we give them, the preference for ensuring that the policymakers, we the people who elect our policymakers, are the ones that are creating the law, not judges, not executives acting outside their scope. He understands that firmly, and he understands that these discussions about issues must be intellectually honest. And I have loved watching this and working with him over the last few years, because there's not a lot of that going on right now. In fact, I have a young school-age child. Anybody have a preteen, young teen? So fun when they go from just trusting everything you say to arguing with you, and then when they actually prove that you're wrong about something, mine likes to say, you just got lawyered, which I really love as the Attorney General. But every time DeSantis calls out one of these themes that is wholly inaccurate or misguided, not intellectually honest, and then he is proven right after intense debate, I always want him to say, you just got lawyered. In fact, that's kind of why you're here. You're participating in this group. You're participating in these panels. It's intellectual engagement on sometimes some issues that are thrown out to sound really great and feel really good and really important and just. And we want to be a part of them, but what is underneath that? How does that reconcile with how our government was set up to work? Does someone who is trying to force a certain policy objective or intent, are they doing it in a legal way? Or even worse, are they acting wholly contrary to law that was set forth by we the people? And that is why it is so great that we have people like you that have been schooled in the law and are active stakeholders and players in our system to debate this. What does this mean? And I could go through with you so many pithy, provocative sayings that not just politicians are using, but corporations, and have historically. And you never really know what they're talking about. I mean, I'm going to give you some of the best ones. Time Warner would say, enjoy better. I don't know what that means. Victoria's Secret, a body for everybody. I think that's pretty good that everybody has a body. I just don't know what that means. Audi, truth in engineering. Truth in engineering. I'm really glad there's truth in engineering. Is there mistruth in engineering? I'm not real sure. I was trained in accounting. Some of y'all might have been trained in engineering. Burger King, be your way. Be your way. That sounds awesome. What does that mean when you're ordering a burger? I have absolutely no idea. And KFC, today tastes so good compared to yesterday, which tasted horrible, and I'm guessing tomorrow will taste great. But think about these things that are being pushed, these sayings. What is behind them? The term equity is thrown around by every major corporation. In fact, they all have equity officers, and I don't think any of them understand what they're meant to do. In fact, behind many of these organizations, equal opportunity, true meaningful opportunity is not the ultimate intent. In fact, they want you to discriminate. It's working exactly against the principles and the values that this country was founded on in many instances. It sounds great, but it doesn't mean equal opportunity under the law. Social justice, criminal justice reform. I'm a former judge. Making sure we're bettering our system, that it's more efficient, that it is truly fair, that people have access. All important. We should never stop improving. But what does it mean? So many of these corporations boast these terms, and when they're giving to so many of these organizations, in fact, do they know that they're wanting to defund the police and abolish prisons and stop prosecuting certain crimes? In fact, many once great cities that had vitality and a great trajectory are now slowly dissolving and are in decline because people got on board with some feel-good notion of doing better, and in the meantime, they were actively working against the stability and success of their cities and their jurisdictions. So many of these companies are doing the same. And so I love that you come together, talk about these provocative sayings and concepts and policies from both sides. What is the truth? What are we actually doing? You know, right here we just had a prosecutor in this area when presented with the fact that someone had at gunpoint robbed an Amazon driver and that they had had 85 prior convictions or arrests and only 11 convictions, and yet we're out still doing this. The initial and guttural reaction, a true, progressive prosecutor said, well, we haven't done enough to help them. Can we do better in our system? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Should a prosecutor's guttural reaction to that be, we have got to do better at protecting our community and making sure people like that aren't going to kill someone the next time? Is that approach what all these corporations are espousing? Is that approach good policy for a safe, strong, safe state and community? But that's why this organization is great, because you're going to debate it. What was government meant to do? Protect our freedoms, protect our people, protect the sovereignty of our state. That's why Florida is excelling, because we always go back to that. We always go back to that. We go beyond the spin, the large corporation, fantasy land, false narrative spin. And we ask ourselves, why are we here? I challenge you over the next 2 days to remind yourself, as you're sitting here listening to these panels, are you here to hobnob with John Badalamenti? Yes. You heard it, right? Over here in this corner. Are you here because you care about this incredible experiment of the United States of America? That we have outlasted the lifespan of a free nation under a rule of law governed by men. You want to be a part of that. Are you here because you want to be a player? You want to be a trader in intellectual honesty. So I challenge you to ask yourself why you're here. And I challenge this organization to say, how can we better support and be advocates for truth in narratives? For holding accountable not just those of us that you have elected, to remain true to the ideals and principles of government as it was originally intended to function, but call out those players that are peddling in misinformation. Learn what you can and hold them accountable. That's what our governor does. That's why I love working with him, and that's why I'm so proud to be a leader in the great free state of Florida. Welcome to this amazing conference. I hope you get a lot out of it. Thanks so much.